Blessed Shabbat and good morning, Yasha Allah. 12 tribes scattered abroad throughout the earth, according to Luke chapter 21. I believe it's 20, verses 20 to 24. In any case, we come in the name of our High Priest and Malak, Yahweh Shai, to bring your word according to his book, the book of Hamashiach, that is called the Revelation of Hamashiach. And as we are in the period leading into or up to his coming to set up a kingdom, according to the book of Daniel, chapter 2, a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, a kingdom pictured as one precipitated by a stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands. I think that's Daniel 2 and 44, I believe. You can check it out. And the stone that was cut out of the mountain without hands became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. So in our introduction here, we begin to, well, as it is natural, to show the reason for our work here. This is from, or according to the revelation of Hamashiach, who is on his way to fix or to repair the earth as a proper dwelling place. In the book of Berishith, or Genesis, we have the setting forth of a cataclysm happening in the earth. And in Berishith, or Genesis chapter 1 and verse 2, we are told that the earth came to be formless and empty, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim was moving on the face of the waters. I believe this would cause us to almost immediately think about what went on in the time of ANUKH. You know, the prophet of old that was translated according to the book of Ibrahim or Hebrews, that he should not see death. And we also told in Hebrews that before his translation, he had a testimony that he pleased Elohim. But of course, in ANUKH's book, he gives us a picture or a view of the earth in turmoil. And in the turmoil that happened, uh, some fellows came down on Mount Hermon, and these fellows, the leader of these fellows were called Gadriel, and his, I call him his boys, Satan. Uh, Came down to the earth as he was cast out from the Shamayim. And we are reminded of this in the book of Luke, when the Mashiach says, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from the Shamayim, from the heaven. And so Berishith chapter 1, verse 2 helps us to recognize this fall, wherein the earth got experienced great trauma. And so the Most High set out to regenerate the earth, as we see here in Berishith chapter 1, verse 2, and put it back together. And put it back together for a habitation of man. And having put it together as a habitation for man, you see Gadriel, the fallen, who was put out of the heavens, coming into the Garden of Eden to corrupt the first couple, our parents, our first parents. So now we are at a time, well, as a matter of fact, let me back up a little bit and reset the template for our discussion. In the early 1990s, there was a memorable period of concern flowing throughout the earth, and there was a real concern concerning a planetary being called Nibiru. And so Esau's scientists were forecasting Nibiru as a harbinger of catastrophic destruction being about to clash with the earth. Well, I would suppose that in total, we do not know if this was actually the truth, because we know that Esau is a kingdom of liars and the creators of fear among the people, especially the 12 tribes. So, I'm not altogether satisfied of the veracity of the announcement of Nibiru's clashing with the earth. But we know that the fallen ones that came down upon Mount Hermon did connect with the couple that the Most High created and put in the Garden of Eden, and were successful in bringing them down because of the woman's lust for power, our first mother. And that occurrence, which we call sin, coming into the earth, the occurrence of sin coming into the earth by our first parents was brought about according to the wisdom of Solomon, chapter chapter 2, maybe. I might be forgetting. Verse 23, thereabout, that says that because of envy, it was because of envy that the earth or the world was brought into the problem of sin. Because of envy, Gabriel made contact with the woman who was in the Garden of Eden. And because of her lust, she invited him or gave in to his request to let him become a part of the family that the Most High intended to create or to bring forth. He created the man and his woman, gave him the garden, and asked them to, to be fruitful and multiply, to fill the earth with children, and to beautify the garden, make it a home to come to, and a place where he could come and visit with them. So where we are now in the history of the earth, we are at another beginning. It is a beginning that includes the visible destruction of those who have had plans to destroy the earth. Like we are told in the book of ANUKH about the Watchers. The Watchers were the ones who were intimately involved with the destruction of the earth. Never mind Esau's intent to make us think that the Watchers were some some helpful beings, some helpful people, if you wish, that had good intentions. No, they had no good intentions. God Real shows us that, and Berishith shows us that. When the serpent contacted the woman, he was concerned about what the Most High's program was concerning that family unit that was formed with the creation of the man and the woman and their marriage. And so we want to now connect this story with Tehillim, or Psalm chapter 24, to show, to confirm, and to make a restatement of the fact that, as Berishith says, in beginning, the Most High, Yahweh, created the heavens and the earth. Before the earth became void, the Most High was the creator. He was the creator then, before the rebellion that caused the earth to become void, broken down and empty, according to the book of Jeremiah. And when we fully understand the way or the manner of Esau's conduct against the birthright that he was offered, that was offered to him as it was offered to Jacob. We see the picture of Esau rejecting, not wanting this birthright, having a bitter resentment towards the birthright. And many of us suppose that, as we have the story outlined in Berishith chapter 25, I believe it is, somewhere there, that talks about the birthright offering to Jacob, or Esau and Jacob, that apparently Esau was not granted the birthright. As a matter of fact, we are told that Esau despised the birthright. That part has been left out. To create a false narrative that the people of Esau have used for a pretext to destroy the earth, as they have done. Many have looked upon the history of the world with regards to the proposition of war or wars that have taken place on the earth from the early times of Nimrod and others such that conducted world war campaigns. There are many nations that were formed back in the day, and nation after nation was falling, and you know, I guess you can say leader after leader was being put in place to govern the earth, and this practice continued until we had the call of Abraham out of Ur of the Chaldees, when the Most High, Yahweh, decided to break into the satanical operations in the earth through the nations that were continuously being formed or brought into power. This is after the fall of Adam and Hawa. Nations were being formed, and so in the formation of all these nations, we get the one well recognized, much recognized, called Nimrod. That's only one. There were many, and around that time was the call of Abraham. Closely related to that time was the call of Abraham by the Most High, Yahweh, who, as we are told in the book of Berishith here, that it is the Most High who created the heaven and the earth. When the problem that caused the earth to become void in Berishith 2, when that problem occurred, the Most High was still the creator of the heaven and the earth, and he decided to put it back together again. And there came forth Esau and Jacob. And Esau, despising the birthright that had in the purpose behind its creation or its recreation, it was intended that it should become a place like a garden. I think in the book of Hezekiel talks about the proposition of the earth becoming like the garden of the Most High, which is the garden of Eden that was given to Adam and Hawa. So we come to a place and time where the contention for the rulership of earth has degenerated into an outright determination to bring destruction to the earth, and withal to destroy the chosen vessel of the Most High, who is the creator of heaven and the earth. The purpose behind the contention that has been going on since the fall I put it in that way. In the fall of Esau, there's the fall of Adam and Hawa at the beginning. I mean, at the during the time they were created to have rule of the earth, so they fell. But remember that before they fell, that Gadriel and his boys fell from the Shamayim. The Mashiach said he beheld him. He beheld Satan as the leader fall from the Shamayim like lightning, as lightning, a flash, and in the twinkling of an eye, they were cast out. So with the power of the Most High and the quickness of the Malachims, the seraphims, as we were learning of, the seraphims, the cherubims, and the ophanims, those that were committed to the Most High, they did their thing in pushing Gadriel and his entourage out of the Shamayim. And then comes forth Edom in Berishith chapter 25 in the birthright offering to Esau and Jacob, or Esau and Jacob, as is falsely put, because of Edom conducting his translation exercise of the scriptures. That's how we get all the confusion concerning the scripture. That Esau put his hand to create this confusion, because it has been his design to be a combatant for the birthright which he despised himself. He himself despised it. So, I mean, if you imagine despising something good, something that is perfect, if you despise it, what then would you do? What would you do to show the level of your despite? This we have seen happening in the earth for these thousands of years now. That came about because of the contempt of Gadriel, one fallen from the Shamayim, and those fallen Malachims with him that made contact with Esau, who despised his birthright, and he connected himself with them. And they have continued to destroy the earth since making contact, since forging that relationship with the fallen ones of the Shamayim. And this contact was established, as we see in Berishith, or Genesis chapter 36, I believe it is, where you find the genealogy of Esau. When Esau's bastard son, Amalek, came into the picture, and directly became a part of the clan of demon production. That was the Horites in Berishith chapter 36, of whom came Amalek as a bastard son unto Esau. And when we use the the searchlight of the Ruach on the scriptures, or in the scriptures, in Bereshith in particular, to unearth the relationship of Amalek to his demonic heritage, we find where uh, um, the problem lay from way back during the days of Nimrod. I mean, with respect to Esau, there were, others uh, uh, before Esau, but coming up to Esau, and with Esau throwing his lot in with the early kingdom, the early kingdom formations of the nations. And then the book of the Apocrypha tells us that with Esau, as the Grecians now, once Esau broke away from the rulership of the kingdom of Yasha'Allah under Shalom or Solomon, the son of David. For David had put them, under subjection with all that demon spirit in them. They were put in subjection by David, but Solomon, was overcome by the demonic heritage in Esau, in Amalek. And mixing, familiarizing with the women of Amalek. This has got to be a key element in the fall of Yaquab. This demon blood that was circulating from Amalek, and our kings, as it were, freely cohabitating with Esau's or Amalek's women. Was an insidious work among the 12 tribes. From the very beginning, when Amalek had the big war with Yasha'Allah coming out of Mitzrayim to begin to set up their kingdom. Esau had already been setting up kingdoms, as we are told right in the book of Berishith, chapter 36, that Esau had kingdoms way before Yasha'Allah. And Yasha'Allah was the new kid on the block with the call of Abraham. Abraham was called according to Berishith chapter 12. But Esau was already doing kingdoms. That's the gist. He was conducting kingdoms with his demonic root in Amalek and in hiding. Once he got situated, he began to do his insidious work, his hidden work of destruction, with the intention, with his intention, being fed by the fallen ones, to get a hold of the birthright. But the wisdom of the Most High, cut across his plan and did not allow him to achieve the fullness of the birthright. And seeing that Satan's plan was foiled, whereby Esau could not obtain the total impartation of heritage birthright. So now their anger became turbocharged. And they took it, Edom, in his creation of the Jews. Alexander the Greek, and from Rome, from Greece, yes, and Rome. These were of the demon clan of Amalek, as we find out in Berishith chapter 36. They were already a demon clan that was hidden. Their identity was hidden. In the book of Jeremiah, we are told that Esau hid himself among the people. But the Most High had to disclose him, because he was roaming, having his I use the word play. He was having his play in the earth as a hidden agenda, and nobody apparently was concerned about who he really was. I mean, given the fact that the whole earth was at one time, fully under the sway of Gadriel, it is not too far-fetched to believe that there could be a stray inheritor, a stray kingdom wish and promote Gadriel. Amalek was the one. So we're talking about Nibiru. We mentioned Nibiru and the scare it caused in the earth, which this scare was, as I think, would now coupled with the workings of Amalek, Esau and Amalek, his bastard son, who, with the birthright blessing, of the sword was given, as it were, free hand, or he got free hand by his conduct of war through his children, the Romans and the Grecians. They got control of the earth by their continual scattering of the children of Yahweh. In this particular case, dealing with the Romans and the Grecians, the 12 tribes, as we know, were scattered according to the Torah, the scriptures, such that they were broken in two. Northern and southern tribes, remember, with Solomon freely cohabitating with Esau's heritage. That was the hidden dagger, having free course of cohabitation with the children of the Horad clan of Amalek. Free floating sexual intercourse and cohabitation. Amalek's clan grew in number and power with that demon blood in them. And more or less won the praise of the whole earth, that this people were so fierce and ruthless in war and so forth, and shrewd in business operations. The demon blood is raging in them. And we see in modern times that it has been their quest to infect the whole earth with their blood. Suppose we didn't quite understand it, but they kept this tirade of what do you call the word, where they do all this experiment with who got the blood, who got the pure blood, and so on and so forth. Remember that Esau was a stickler for blood, blood heritage, and we know that for instance, the English prided themselves as being a people of pure blood, a pure blood race, which I guess they inherited from the Germans, and with that word on their tongue, this purebred Aryan race. This was the race coming from the demon clan of Esau, bastard son, who got his inheritance from the Horite. And here was the secret of their power. And so, in all of the working of the Most High to reclaim the earth in terms of the national inheritance of those he would have to set up kingdom on the earth. He had to cleanse a people as it began to be with the birthright offering to Jacob and his or Esau and Jacob, Jacob and Esau, or Esau and Jacob. The process was begun to bring forth a righteous seed that would be pleasing unto the Most High. And there is the secret behind the choice of birthright between Esau and Jacob. And so Esau has set himself up, giving his war victories in the earth with the Horide blood, the demon blood. He has attempted to make himself be seen as invincible in the earth. And it took the sending forth of the Son of the Most High through the fourth son of Jacob and Leah. And Yahweh, so-called Judah. The Most High sent forth his own beloved to take care of the matter of the people of the demon heritage. And these people have claimed the earth. They laid claim to the earth. They even started trying to lay claim to the heavens. Matter of fact, we know that they've conducted a campaign of construction of bunkers, underground bunkers, to safeguard themselves from the coming of the Mashiach, who in Yaquab was inducted into the Hall of Fame of the Birthright. It was conferred and confirmed to Yaquab. But the Most High, in his own wisdom and for his own cause, had to send his word. We are told in the book of Ibrahim, chapter 10, I believe it is, that the word maketh the son. Chapter 9, 10, thereabout. The word maketh the son, who's blessed forevermore. So he had to send the son, because Esau has adopted this relationship with the satanic. And the wars was some serious wars, as we know from the Maccabees. And Esau seemed to be getting the upper hand through the demonic connection. And so the Most High sent his son, the word, make it the son. In the beginning was the word, that he became the savior of Yasha Allah, of Yaquab over the insinuation of birthright stolen by Esau. Well, I use the word stolen in terms of the fact that Esau, set up his war machinery to assist him with gaining the upper hand. Let's put it that way. So with the connection, the satanic and demonic connection, Esau plotted, his strategy underhand. But the Most High, seeing all, sent his word in the flesh to take care of the problem. And here we are in the sealing period now, as it has come to finish. We are told that the Most High has designated that he would make a short work in the earth. And so here we are in the sealing time, where we are reminded in Tehillim, or the Psalms, chapter 24, that despite the satanic intent in Esau to have control of the earth, and to wipe out the righteous seed, we are reminded in Tehillim, or Psalm chapter 24, that the earth is the property of Yahweh. It's he who made it. I remember when the Nibiru scale was prevalent in the early 90s, or in that period of the early 90s. The Most High showed me a vision, and I think I shared with you, family, on a YouTube video. He showed me a vision where in all of his creation, Gadriel was contending for the earth. Well, in fact, we were made to believe that Esau, was the controller for everything. That they had shown so much determination to be the rulers of the earth that they also began to make us believe that they were rulers of the heaven. And so we, our vision being clouded, we thought to believe that they were actually ruling all those planetary bodies out there. And so, but the Most High showed me the vision that actually Satan, or Gadriel, who was behind this Edomite claim, to be as it were, the claimants of the earth and the heavens. So is their claim. When we check out Blavatsky, Helen of Blavatsky, they showed this desire to be the rulers of heaven and earth. But the Most High showed me in the early 90s, when the Nibiru concern was taking a hold of the inhabitants of the earth, especially with regards to us as the combatants in the battle for rulership, the rulership of the earth, as granted unto us in the birthright. The Most High showed me the vision with Gabriel, Satan, contending for the power to control the earth. And he showed me, as it were, the Most High taking the earth and tossing it, tossing it into the air, and as a means of getting Gabriel's attention to see what he would do, to see if he could actually take charge of the earth and make it be what he wanted it to be. And I saw that Gabriel, Satan, could could not even hold up. He could not maintain the earth by holding it up in the air on his power. And when I saw that, I was like, whoa, I thought this fella had some power. He couldn't even keep the earth up and spinning in the air as the Most High has done it and had it operating for all this time, all these years. Get the picture of that. All this noise that Gabriel has been making and having the Jewish make, all this noise about ownership of the earth. Their overlord, their boss, Satan, could not even keep the earth up in the air and spinning, on its course through the air. And when I saw that, I said, oh. We thought this fella had some power. But the one little earth, he cannot maintain to hold it up and maintain its circulation through in the cosmos and in its course as a planetary body. So we're told here, for a couple of verses, I guess, the earth belongs to Yahweh and all that is in it, all that fills it, the world, those who dwell in it, the world, speaking to the connection between the world soul and the humanity, man, that the Most High put to govern the earth and its operations, its upkeep, maintain it, as Adam was told. Dress up the earth, keep it, make it look good, make it a pleasant dwelling place. This is what the Mashiach came to restore. And he's given us to us, Yasha'Allah, to look forward to everything being renewed again, that we may dwell with him. And having the Mashiach to be at the head of our armies and as the keeper of the vineyard. Mashiach. Ayi kataba. I am the vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. He's the bigger boss. But I am the boss nonetheless. He's given it to me to have the kingdomship of the earth. And this he shall do, show forth when he returns as the word of the Most High. He comes. This is what we're looking forward to. So Rome, with all its feistiness, you're called to acknowledge in verse 2 of chapter 24 of Psalm that the Most High has founded the earth upon the seas. And upon the waters, he has established it. And so for you who are in the set apart land of Yasha Allah, and desecrating its landscape, the mountains and hills of Bashan, the time has come to an end. It is ending. We see in verse 3 of Berishith 24, who does go up into the mountain of Yahweh? In the King James it says, who shall ascend into the hill of the Most High? The bastard Amalek has been there, going up and down, trampling the land, and desecrating it, doing gay parade. Now he's coming with his critical race theory to promote faggotry. Because he says that his genealogy comes from a woman that was the demonic Horite daughter, as we see in Berishith chapter 36. So, who stands in the set apart place? It's got to be those who have innocent hands and a clean heart. This is what we seek, Yasha Allah. This is what is our heritage in the Mashiach, that in his guidance and the leadership of his Rawak, these achievements granted unto us, that we may participate in them and set apartness through our Mashiach, our King, our set apart one. So we have gone through the setup of the tabernacle and its parts, the various partitions of the set apart and the most set apart places, to show the connection that the Most High has made available to us through Mashiach, that we have become flesh of his flesh and bone of his bones. Amen. And though being flesh and blood, originally he has called us to sit in heavenly places with Mashiach through the blessed Ruach. So in verse 4 of chapter 24, we see that the ones with clean hands and a clean heart, who did not bring his life to naught by being afraid of Esau, by being afraid of the world governments. You let them, you allow them to swing you, as we say in the slang language. You don't allow Esau to swing you, make you believe that he has so much power that he could cancel your faith in the Mashiach. And so you would not swear deceitfully and say you are a child of the kingdom, and then you want to say Esau is a part of the kingdom too. Can't happen. So those of you who've been inviting, saying that, in the blessedness of the Mashiach, he can bring Esau in the kingdom too. Never happen. Can't happen. You got to redirect. Yasha Allah, you've been granting the kingdom to any and everyone. It's not yours to give. The Most High Yahweh is the keeper of the vineyard. And for all who have busied themselves destroying the vineyard and the vine, we have Esau over there in the vineyard in Jerusalem, claiming heritage to it. And all the while, dressing up his gay parade. That's destruction. How could you have a nation like that to build a set-apart community, one who believes in homosexuality, lesbianism? What kind of community could you get from that? Corruption, destruction, like the Most High destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah in the early days. That's all you can get from that. So we are admonished to take heart, take courage, Yasha Allah. And according to the book of ANUKH, that shows us their attempt to cower us and make us say, you, Mr. Edom, you could come and share the kingdom with us. Never happen. Never happen. And you should not be afraid to stand for the right and for your king, our king, Yahweh Shai. He's the one that Amalek brutally destroyed at Calvary, according to the Nicene Creed. This is Amalek's Nicene Creed. Hey, crucified under Pontius Pilate. How then are you going to now bring him into the kingdom that he set about to destroy so brutally? You got to see your error, Yasha Allah. This is your error. Never mind Esau and his lies. See your own error. Correct yourself. Let's get on course. Because when the king comes, there ain't no more time to straighten it out. He's coming anyhow. So those of us who have seen the working of the set-apart place and how the set-apart furnishings and the work of cleansing has been carried out to show Mashiach in us as the hope and the achievement of esteem, righteousness. Let's stay on course. So the one who does not bring his life to naught, does not swear deceitfully, like saying, yeah, he could come, yeah, the blood of Mashiach can cleanse him. He coming with demon blood. He already chose that in Amalek. He chose that. Nobody gave him that. He chose that. He received a blessing from Yahweh. What blessing can he achieve or receive when he despised it a long time ago? You understand what despise means? And righteousness from Alahayim, of his deliverance. So this is the generation of those who seek him. And watch the next verse. Yaquab, who seek your face. It is Yashi'Allah who seek the face of the Most High, not Esau. Esau's determination is destruction. All right. So in verse 7, we told to lift up your heads, O ye gates. This is actually speaking to the land that Esau is pontificating upon, or has been pontificating upon. That he could have power over. But the Most High speaks to the gates of Yasha Allah, the land itself, and those who have been redeemed to be the guardians of the land, with the Mashiach at their head, as their leader, as their Malak, as their king, as the one who is their redeemer. We have a repeat in verse 9. Lift up your heads, O you gates, even lift up you everlasting doors, so the sovereign of esteem can come in. And who is the sovereign of esteem? Yahweh of hosts. He is the sovereign of esteem. We told in the Revelation that as the Mashiach has put down all the nations and the kingdoms of the earth, and when he has taken up his residence or residency in terms of the accomplishment of the authority of the land and of the kingdom. The Revelation shows us that when he has put down all these rulers, all of Esau, Amalek, and Gadriel and his boys, when he has put them down and shut their mouths from claiming authority and rulership over the land and the people, then when the Mashiach has finished getting rid of these ones who are spouting off that they have authority and rulership over it, then the Father will come himself. That's what we see in the last of the verses here in chapter 24, as we see it in the book of Revelation, that when the Mashiach has conquered over all the nations and put them down and put the satanic and demonic Edomite in their place. Then the kingdom shall be established, and the Most High Himself will come to be with His people that He has redeemed through the work of the Mashiach. His word come in the flesh. So lift up your heads, O you gates, Yash Allah. You who could not understand what was going on, what is going on, because you have these people laying this claim that the earth belongs to them and Jerusalem belongs to them, who are the destroyers of the whole earth. So I said, no, I made it. I formed it by my own power, and nobody else helped me. God certainly didn't help me, because his wish is to destroy it all and the people. So get it out of your mind, Yasha Allah, that you could invite Edom into the kingdom. It ain't happening. All you're gonna do is destroy yourself, as the book of Isaiah show you. Whoever is to join to them, be destroyed. If you want destruction, you certainly can have it. And the terror of the Most High can accomplish what He determines to be righteous for His name's sake. So let it be.